Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, just want to take a moment and share with you some reading in Revelation around what I've read it before, but what I'm reading or just read is probably more relevant now than probably in the history of our generations. With an S, my generation and the generation behind my generation. So those who were born within my 40-year span, and then those who were born in the last 40-year span. Generations. You know, if you're paying attention to what's happening with this economy, prices going up, food shortages, crime, snatch and grab, murders. I mean, currently, I'm in the city of New Orleans, and when I was talking about murders every single day now, murders. Granted, this city has always been a very violent city. There's no need to exaggerate, on that aspect of it, but it did quiet down for a while. Some of it probably had to do with, the quarantining and closure of a lot of the businesses over the last couple of years. But this is sure as this city opened up just a bit, those criminals and those who are zombie-like, and I believe that it has something to do with medication. If you get what I'm talking about, they took 3 steps of their medication, being encouraged to take a 4th step of their medication. And I think that whatever they had in them, now it has gotten to a point where that it's intensified fourfold. In other words, 4 times as worse. You can even go as far as say 100 times worse. And Elohim, wrote in the book for us to, especially in these last days, as a warning, flee into the wilderness. If you were in a safe place, rooftop, housetop is the way he said, don't come out. It was his way of saying in these days, things are going to be so bad that you have to put yourself in the very best environment, safe environment that you can put yourself in. Not that you should be afraid, but this is wisdom. This is direction from Elohim. And again, when you look across this nation and you begin to realize the madness that is going on, the lack of resources, the disregard for life, morals, the total abandonment of morality. Just no morals. Parents don't respect their kids, expose their kids to all kind of wickedness and debauchery. Men, have no regard to their responsibilities as a male, as a man, in terms of providing and protecting those that they're naturally supposed to love, although that love has waxed cold in them. And the book said that it would. And just so I'm clear here, when the book says the love of many shall wax cold, go read Matthew chapter 24. What he means by that is that the natural affection that a man should have for his children, the natural affection that a man should have for his family, mother, father, grandparents, is gone. It's gone. There's no more natural affection. It simply means that instinctively there are things that you should say, hey, that's my daughter, or that's my son. I got to look out for them. That's my woman. I got to look out for her. Or that's my parents, my mother, my father. I got to look out for them. I got to make sure they're okay. The naturalness of it, it's gone. The book reminded us that there will be earthquakes in diverse places. Diverse places mean many places all over the place. And I know a lot of you saying, well, there hadn't been a lot of earthquakes, DFG. Well, I'm going to ask you to kind of slow down a little bit. I was almost going to say slow your roll. But I'm going to ask you to slow down a little bit. Earthquakes, as it would relate to in the scripture, is any event that causes the earth to shake. Not just the opening of the ground, but anything that shakes the earth. Have you ever been in a hurricane before? Any of you? Have you ever experienced a hurricane? Have you ever saw the results after a hurricane has gone through? Does it look like anything was shaken unto you? Have you ever been in an environment where tornadoes came through? When that tornado goes through, does things around where that tornado went through look or have the appearance as though the earth was shaken or it was shaken? Look at what happened in Kentucky. Just for reference, 40 tornadoes went through the Midwest just a few days ago. That's almost unheard of, this time of year. But Yeshua reminded us that those signs would be signs. Those signs would be your reminder that the end is near. And it's really, I get a little chill when I'm thinking this. It's almost heartbreakingly sad how many people, especially Judah, Israel, so-called African Americans, black people, it's really heartbreaking how many of you are just sitting around and seeing all of these things, and you have not made any type of arrangements to survive the things to come. None. At best, maybe you bought a couple of cases of water and, a bag of rice. But you haven't considered stoves. You haven't found a way to heat your food. You haven't considered, blankets. You haven't considered a safe place to get away. It's amazing. We talk about all the time about sisters and having their coverings. At least on this channel, we talk about it. And, you look around and, so-called believing sisters haven't done a thing about that. It's almost as though they say, well, if things get bad, I'm just going to stay inside. Just going to stay in my house. Well, I got news for you. It's not even news for you. I'm going to challenge you to just think a little bit out of the box, although your cognitive skills seem to be somewhat dormant these days. Your ability to have logical common sense, just basic common sense. It's sort of like if you're hungry, you're supposed to eat. If you're thirsty, you're supposed to drink some water. I'm just talking about that kind of common sense. Some of you sisters out here, I think your common sense flew out of the left side of your brain, went into your right side of your brain and just shot right out of this left side. Everything you have learned, everything you have read, everything you have heard has gone totally away from you. Because if you think being inside your house is going to keep the enemy from outside of your house, or attackers, marauders, those who want to purge, those who want to rape, those who want to kill, those who want to rob and steal, do you really think they're not going to come through your windows? Your sliding doors, your wooden doors? You really don't think that they're going to kick those doors in? Do you realize, sisters, I'm going to tell you something, that most of the enemy of our people, which are many, but most of them have affiliations with military equipment, military gear. In other words, weapons of war. Most of our enemy has access to that. If they don't own it personally in their homes, they know someone who owns certain equipment. Like those rammers that they use, the ram doors, whenever SWAT comes to a home and they want to go in on a drug raid. You know how they have that big thing, that big metal thing, they just hit the door and knock the whole door off the hinges and come on in? That's how safe you are. If in your house, thinking that you're just going to go inside and you're just going to lock the doors and you're going to be okay. You're not going to be okay. Again, you're not going to be okay. And it's really, an indictment against the men. Talking about Judah, so-called African-American male. It's an indictment against you. Because if you have a daughter, niece, if you have any kind of female interaction or had any kind of female interaction, I'm talking about in a leadership role or in a guardian role. And that includes if you were married or in what you would call a relationship with a woman. You should have taught her that a long time ago, the importance of what it's going to take to survive in a crisis. And because many of you men have failed, now your sisters, your daughters, your mothers are totally oblivious to what it's going to take to survive. And so there they are, going and coming as usual, with no true understanding how to defend themselves and what it's going to take for them to survive in a shit-hits-the-fan type of environment where rioters are there, marauders are there, the purgers are there, the criminals, the incarcerated, those who are broken out of prisons, or those who were just let out of prison. Because if you think the prison guards are going to be sitting in any penitentiary, any jailhouse, while all shit is going on in these streets, and not going to be out there looking for their family and trying to get their family in a safe place, you are sadly mistaken. If you have any understanding, let me give you, if you were in southern Louisiana during the time of Katrina, let me remind all of you of something that you may have forgotten. When Katrina came, you know what happened with most of the so-called law enforcement personnel? Those who were hired or those who were employed to defend or protect. You know what they did? They grabbed their families, they grabbed their possessions, and they left. They didn't stick around. They were gone. Oh, and by the way, many of your pastors, who many of you had set up with nice homes and cars and planes, they left too. Didn't even give a damn about what was happening to the people in the city, those who were left behind. Y'all don't remember the Coast Guard having to come and drop water off the people and rescue people who were stuck, on their roofs and stuck on these interstates and high rises? Y'all don't remember any of that? Y'all don't remember, the gangs? They weren't normally gangs, but they formed gangs that were in the convention center in New Orleans, the Memorial Center. Y'all don't remember the stories about what was going on in the Superdome? Women, I'm talking to you too. You don't remember the gangs who were going through the Superdome raping, robbing, abusing? Y'all don't remember that? And that was just a 3 or 4 event. I'm talking about with Katrina. What is to come right now is going to be a lot worse than that. It's going to make what happened during Katrina look like child's play. And just as though many of your families were not prepared to deal with the aftermath of Katrina, many of you are still in a drunken stupor, not prepared. You get up, you go run to the workplace, and you run back home and go do whatever it is you do without any regard to, am I ready? What if shit hits the fan before you get off from work today? What happens then? What if an event, a catastrophic event, happens while you're at work? How are you going to get home? Who are you going to call? Talking to you women. Who's going to come and get you? Oh, I know. You're going to just get in your car and you're going to leave. So you're going to run every stop sign. You're going to run every traffic light. You're going to somehow or another, your car is going to be able to catapult all the other cars. Because traffic is going to be backed up. You do know that, right? So while you're sitting in traffic, what do you think those who were the robbers, the rapists, the murderers, the killers, all of those who are starving and hungry, who did not prepare, what do you think they're going to do? Just say, oh, that car is sitting right there, engine running, her windows is rolled up, so I'm not going to bother her. I can't get in there anyway. No, they're going to crash. They're going to break your windows out of your car, and they're going to snatch your ass out of there. They're going to do whatever they want to do to you probably, and who knows what else is going to happen. This is serious times that we're in. And I know, it's always, it's what's really sad. Whenever we bring forth the truth, we always got to get this blowback from many of you so-called Christians. Oh, you're just using fear tactics. You're just trying to scare us. You're just trying to control us. You're just trying to manipulate us. Although we're telling you what thus says Elohim in the very Bible that you say you believe in. We're telling you what he says since you won't read it for yourself. We're telling you what he said to warn you. And when we warn you, you accuse us of trying to scare you. Although your book says it's going to happen. And when the signs of the times reflect what's written in the book. I've challenged you before. Go back and read Matthew 24 and you tell me if we're not living in the last days. Go back and read Luke chapter 21. I think it's Luke 21. And tell me if, according to what you read, according to the times that we're in, that we're not in the last days. Look at the news and go read that. Look at the grocery shelves and then go read that. Go look at the price of goods. Revelation talked about that. The price is going up. A loaf of bread is going to go up. Wheat is going to go up. $1, it's going to be a day's salary just to get a loaf of bread. You don't know that the prices are rising? And then again, it talked about the crime in the streets, wars, wars and rumors of wars. You know what happens in a war? People die. Well, I'm not a soldier. Well, it's something else that goes on in a war that brother, you may not have considered. Are you familiar with the term collateral damage? Collateral damage. You might want to look that up. But just for the sake of not having you do some research that your brother can just articulate to you, collateral damage means when during war, all the innocent lives that are destroyed. That's collateral damage. They missed the target or they hit the target, but anybody who happens to be in that area where the incident happened, they get impacted just as the people who were targeted were impacted. War. Rumors of war. That's not gossip. It's just rumors of war are simply saying, hey, y'all heard about what's going over there. I think they're coming. Hey, the Capitol rioters, those who were rioting in the Capitol in January, I think they're going to rise up again. I think that was a show of force. I think that was a rehearsal. So that they all know how to congregate together and make a move against whoever is perceived as their enemy or whoever are in possession of the things that they need, like housing, money, silver, gold, water, food, transportation, those kind of things. The book goes also talking about, again, there'll be a time like it was never before. They were talking about diseases. Diseases. So the pandemic, epidemics, whatever word you want to use, he said would be worldwide and no one would have a solution to fix it. Although they would trying to come up with different ways to address it, nothing is going to work. They'll try one thing, that's not going to work. They're going to try something else, that's not going to work. And to the point that if it was possible, everybody would die. They're going to be experimenting like that. Now that it was odd. Well, it's not odd to me, but was somewhat peculiar. I guess that would be the right word. What's peculiar to me is why you don't know what I know. I mean, since at least why you don't know what I know, and equally on a level. Why not only do you know what I know, why haven't you gone to research to see if what I'm saying to you is the truth or not? Why haven't you at least checked to see if it's the truth? Your medical experts told you need to go do that other thing, and you went and did it without a whole lot of research because they said it was important. And then some of you did do some research and you went and did it. So why aren't you doing it on this? They told you that your life was on the line if you didn't take, the jab. I'm telling you, according to the book, when all these things start to happen, your life is on the line. So why aren't you responding equally this way? Especially when you say you believe Elohim over man. Because that's what many of you Christians say, especially you Christian women. You say that you don't believe in no man, that Elohim, God got you. You say you believe in God. You don't care about what no man say. Okay, fine. I challenge you to challenge what Elohim says. You call him God, which by now you should know better, but for the sake that we're communicating effectively, I'll come down to your level because it's Elohim, it's Yahuwah. I come down to your level not to disrespect you, but to be able to effectively talk to you. So you say God, okay. Why have you gone in and looked to see what God said, what would happen right before this world is ended? Why haven't you done that? What are you afraid of? Because I suspect some of you are not doing it because you're in fear. You have a mindset, well, I'd rather just not know. You remind me of the ostrich, the bird. When there's trouble around, he sticks his head down in the ground, as though somehow or another, because you can't see because he can't see you, you can't see him. Or a pet, a dog, or whatever. Whenever they're trying to hide from you, they stick their head under something, but you can see the whole body. Not going to work. You can ignore it, but just because you ignore it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And it's not going to soften the blow to you or your family members. It's not going to soften the blow. You're going to take a direct hit. A direct hit. In other words, you're going to suffer. You're going to be miserable. It's going to be painful. And you're going to feel like you wish, like you've never felt before. The book says it's going to be like a woman when she's having labor pains. Now, some of you sisters out there, you've had children. How comfortable was that? I'm talking about the labor pains and the birth process. How comfortable was that? It's going to be like that, but it's going to be a continue. When you're having your labor pains or baby, it's typically gone in a day or two, unless you're really unfortunate and maybe it lasts as long as that. But most of the time, 48 hours, you're done. But this is going to be a continual. And just so you also know, so some of you ladies are going to be taken as sex slaves. You know what they do to sex slaves in wartime? Let me give you an example. How many of you guys are familiar with the Rwandan genocide? Rwanda, Africa. Happened back in 1995. 1 million people were killed in 4 months. It was a tribal war. Tutsis versus Hutus. A tribal war within the people. Very similar to what you're going to see happening here. A lot of people were hacked up with machetes. Obviously, a lot of them were shot down. Especially those who were affluent people, people who had a little something, like some of you. Your money they did not want in terms of for your life. You couldn't bargain with your resources. Your bargain wasn't going to save you. If you remember Hotel Rwanda, the hotel owner, he tried to bargain with them for a little while. He saved them for a while, but not for long. But he had big bucks. He had hotel money from the hotel safe. I suspect most of you don't have enough money to survive 3 paychecks without being outdoors or your home being to be foreclosed. But sex trafficking. You know what they did to those women in Rwanda? You know what those soldiers did? They weren't soldiers, those hoodlums, those rioters, those purge, the guys down the street, the neighbor across the street, the guy that you work with, the guy who's been trying to get a date with you for a while, flirting with you all the time, him, them. He's not going to come to you flirting anymore. He's just going to take what he wants from you. Just going to take it. Because that's what they did to those women. The gang raped them. You still think that you don't need to be preparing. You still believe that, you're going to be safe in your house. I don't say, well, I'm just going to stay on my job and just stay in there. And I know the people at work going to protect me. Are you serious? You can't be serious. Who? Look around your workplace. Identify the one that's going to protect you. And please don't tell me the police. I've already told you what most of those, out of respect, I'm just not going to say what I want. I already told you what they're going to do. They're going to be the first to abandon their post and be gone. Then they're going to be worried about you when they got families. And most of those guys are not prepared to stop anybody, not when they're on their jobs. They got so much ammunition and that's it. Unless they come together as a force, they can't protect anybody. Not individually. Not 2 or 3 of them in patrol cars. That ain't going to happen. And I can assure you, they're not going to put their lives on the line for anybody when shit hits the fan. Especially not you, Israelite woman, African American woman. So what's going to happen to those of you who are not slaughtered, stumped to death? You're going to get raped to death. Now, somebody needs to say this. I am an Israelite male. What I look like saying that I am an Israelite male and don't warn my sisters of the danger that's ahead? That would make me a heathen like the heathens are. When the shit hits the fan, no, you're not going to have to worry about DFG any kind of way. I'm not going to be the one that's going to run to your house. I'm not going to be the one to do anything to you. I'm your brother, but even I'm not going to be there for you unless you're me and mine. If you me and mine, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect me and my own. But if you're not me or mine, I'm sorry. We may share a tear for you, but we're not coming for you. If you didn't do the things you needed to do to build the relationship that you needed to build, so when the things happened, you had somewhere to go or you knew where you were going to be ahead of time, then you own the outcome. You have no one to blame but yourself. I mean, how many more of these videos do we have to create to tell you what's happening and what is to come? How many more videos do you need to listen to or not listen to? It was equally ridiculous. And I'm not saying this to lead the witness, so to speak. But how many of you, because I use a strong word or I talk about, the consequences of women misbehaving, and men too, you just delete it. You're the ostrich that stick their head in the ground and say, well, I'll just unsubscribe to him. I'll just delete him. And then what? You think it's going to change something because you cut me off? Someone who least care enough about you to warn you, so you think it's to your benefit, to shut down the voices who can help you, hopefully motivate you, stimulate you to get off your ass and start doing something so that you don't get caught unawares. Because don't you know that's also what Yeshua, who y'all call Jesus, he said they will be caught unawares. So they'll be going about doing their normal stuff, working, getting your nails done, getting your hair cut, in the mall shopping, getting ready for your barbecue, getting ready to go to your, the Essence Festival. Whatever it is you normally do, they're going to catch you right in the middle of that. That's what it means when it says it's going to catch you unaware. And he said, and when that happens, he said your ass is going to be howling and screaming, and there's nothing going to be done to rescue you. That's the book. And just so you have something to compare, think about the stories of 10 virgins. If you know your book. Again, some of you Christians, you're not... First of all, Christianity is not of Elohim. You follow me? If you're saying you're the Messiah-like, or you act like the Messiah, you believe like the Messiah believe, okay, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. That's sensibleness. But if you just a Christian for the sake of Christian, some of you Christians are poor Christians. Your Christianity is a fagoozy. Serious. You're terrible Christians. And why do I say that? Because if you were a Christian, you would at least read the book. Or you would at least take heed to someone warning you about what's in the book. But you won't even do that. So exactly, what kind of Christian are you? I think what you've done is, you're like the little kid who wants to be Superman. And obviously they know they can't fly. So what they do, they take a pillowcase and tie it around their neck, you know what I'm saying? And then they take and, I don't know, they go outside and they just run up and down, and as the pillowcase is flapping in the end, they say, oh, I'm flying. Their ass is right there on the ground, just running around looking like a little idiot. But I'm afraid that's what your Christianity is like. Many of you, just like that little child. It's, you're a Christian in your imagination, not in reality. Yeshua said, you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. So if you were truly Messiah-like or Christian, Christ-like, then you would definitely take heed to the warnings that he said would happen in these last days and times. But you haven't, and you won't. You won't even take the time to read it, let alone do it. But so you remind us, and this is the comparison, of those virgins that you heard your brother mention a moment ago. That's in your book. You can find that in the Basura. You call Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. You go find it for yourself. I think it's Matthew. But you go look for it. I'm not going to do all the work for you. If you care about your soul, you care about your life, you care about your family, I think you at least go and find that parable. And it's a parable. A parable is a story that's being told, but a warning story. In that parable, he says there were 10 virgins, and they were waiting for the bridegroom to come. And while they waited, they were supposed to keep oil in their lamps so that when the bridegroom came, he could find them. It goes on to say that he kind of delayed. It took a while for him to get there. Some of the virgins, they kept oil. No, they stayed prepared, 5 of them. The other 5 said, oh, he's taking too long. I got some things I need to go do. In other words, they got busy doing something other. In other words, they stopped being prepared based off of what was necessary to leave with the bridegroom when he arrived. The story goes on to say that over a period of time, some of those 5 of those bridesmaids allowed their lamps, or the light for which the bridegroom needed to see so he could find them when he came looking. They ran out of oil, so their lamps went out. So those 5 that their lamps out, they asked the other 5, hey, give us some of your oil so we can relight our lamps. In other words, looking for somebody else to do your work for you. That's what that means. Instead of you doing your own work, when you don't do your work and the shit hits the fan, now you expect somebody now to come and bail you out. You know those 5 virgins who have been doing the work, stand prepared? They told them, if I give you mine, then I ain't going to have none left. So, therefore, I can't do nothing for you. So those 5 whose lamps went out, they had to leave and go find some more oil so they can relight their lamps. You know what happened while they were gone? The book says the bridegroom came. And he didn't care if there were 5 or 10. Because he only had X amount of time as well. So the 5 who were ready and prepared, they went with him. They were safe. The promise that they were given was fulfilled. When the other 5 came back, it was too late. Their 5 sisters were gone and the bridegroom was gone. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen to many of you because you want to disregard the warnings. Because you believe that if you just ignore it, that somehow or another it won't impact you. That's called arrogance, haughtiness, high-mindedness. Don't give a damnness. Well, you may not give a damn today because there's nothing happening today. Sun is shining. Saturday, Sabbath. You're getting your nails done, toes done, getting your fresh cut, whatever you're doing. You don't give a damn today. But you had better pray Elohim doesn't show up tonight. Not Elohim, the war. Let's say that the right way. You had better pray that the war doesn't happen tonight or later on this afternoon. The attack does not get started. Because you are going to be the very person that you heard me describe earlier. According to this Bible, according to our book, according to the word of Yeshua, you will live to regret it. Well, I'll just kill myself. Well, I don't think you got it in you. I don't think you have it in you. Before I let somebody do that, I will. You don't have it in you. Ask you a quick question. How you going to kill yourself? I'm just saying this, but for you super duper woke women. You brothers too, because what I said applies to you too. Because see, when a marauder or a killer or a gangster shows up and he wants whatever he wants, guess what? If you can't defend yourself, brother, he's taking it from you. Over my dead body, ultimately, it'll be over your dead body once he's finished with you, or once they're finished with you. Yeah, they'll leave you for dead then. But before your life has left your body, just understand this. They will rape you too. They will cut you to pieces. They will hack you to pieces. They'll see if you have anything on you that they can sell, including your organs, your liver, your heart, those parts of your body that they might be able to trade on the black market somewhere. Oh yeah, those will be out there too. So you're going to get done just like the women going to get done. Just, somebody again. Look, as the old saying goes, I don't have a horse or a dog in this race. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying that I'm going to be somewhere else. Yes, that is what I'm saying. But I'm not saying I won't be around when the shit hits the fan. I'm going to be around. The Rahuk has assured me of that fact. I'll be here. But I won't be where you are. I'll be in a safe place. And I'll be prepared. That's where I'll be. Because unlike you, I'm going to take what Elohim says through Yeshua serious. I've been taking it serious. I have been taking it serious. You know, some of you guys, you men, where you going to go? When shit hits the fan in your community, in your apartment complex, what you going to do? Oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to just go outside and hang around with the rest of the guys, right? Wait for the lights to come back on. Lights ain't coming back on. Oh, I know what you're just going to go to the local store to see what they got in there. Ain't going to be nothing in the local stores. Oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to go, go to these other communities where they got food and people got resources and start breaking in homes. You don't even own a damn handgun, let alone an assault weapon. Because guess what? Those communities that you think you're going to be going in and thinking that you're going to do something, I'm going to tell you something. Your brother has lived amongst that group. That group years ago armed themselves to the teeth. They got every kind of assault weapon. They got tanks. They got hand grenades. They got poison. They got dogs. They got everything plus some. And enough food and reserve to last them years. And they are ready already. They're already ready. What do you think happens, when they have their little community meetings? What do you think they're talking about? When they get together in their lodges, in their clubs, what do you think they're talking about in their gun clubs? What do you think they're in there learning how to shoot on the gun range for? The targets are black. You ever notice that? I'm going to say that to you again. Did you notice that the targets that they practice shooting are black? I wonder why that is. They are fully prepared. So you ain't going over there. You can forget that notion. They're going to come to where you are, but you ain't going over there. Because see, you have something they want. They have something that you need, but they have planned themselves to protect what you need, and you haven't done a damn thing to stop them from coming and get what they want, including your women and your daughters and your sons. That's criminal. That is criminal, brother. That is criminal. You should be taken out back and shot for that kind of neglect. And why? Because all you gave a damn about is getting your drink on, getting your smoke on, popping a few of these whores. You heard what I said? Popping a few of these whores, getting into the strip club, and watching these idiots for dollars run up and down poles with no understanding of what's coming. The book says it's going to be a time like was never before in the history of mankind. It goes on to say, woe unto that generation who will see these things. Woe, woe, woe. As a matter of fact, the book even goes on to say, Matthew 24, again, it is nonsensical for you to just take my word for it without going and read it for yourself, sister, brother. Why don't you just go read it for yourself? What harm is that going to do? Even you out there who say, I don't believe in the Bible. Well, still go read it. Because you might not believe in the Bible, but I think you're going to believe in the results. When it happens to you, it doesn't matter if you read it in the Bible or not. When it happens, it's going to happen. The Bible, knowing the Bible or not believing in the Bible, knowing Elohim and not knowing Elohim, it's not going to save your ass. So you can be an atheist or an agnostic, or you can do whatever you want to do. Just you're a non, but I don't believe in that. It's okay. But when it starts happening, you're not going to have any choice but to believe that. But you will have one little tiny, tiny little regret. You know what that regret is going to be? I should have listened. Same thing with you, sister. I should have listened. But it's going to be far too late. Just like those unwise virgins, when they were told to keep lamping those in their lamps, they got tired of waiting, figured they could do what they wanted to do. They had time to go get it if they needed it, or somebody's going to come and bail them out. No one showed up, and they got left behind to deal with the consequences, the disappointment. Now, I think I've painted a pretty clear picture. I think I've painted a very, very clear picture. Oh, and by the way, there's not a lot of this resource left. But here's something I want to say to you guys and to you ladies. But ladies, if you're trying to do this with other women, they're just going to get a whole bunch. They're going to get 2 for 1 of y'all. That's all they're going to get. Or 5 for 1, 10 for 1, 100 for 1. Getting with a bunch of women thinking that's how y'all going to save yourself. No, he's just going to get 10 of y'all instead of 1 of y'all at one time. That's what's going to happen. I'm just saying to you. But back to the men and to the ladies. Here's a strong suggestion. A strong suggestion I would make to you. Find some land outside of the city. Buy it. Put you some survival needs there. And when I mean survival needs, I'm talking about something that you can cover yourself, your head up, something you can, where you can get, grow food, store food, somewhere where you can, if you're in a shootout, that you can protect that particular area. There are places for y'all to hide, somewhere to hide your children, somewhere for you women, to be able to hide, so that if they do break, across, the front line, that you're not easy access. A place where y'all can start training, self-defense training, how to fight. I know how to fight. No, you don't know how to fight. You know how to brawl. I said learn how to fight, not brawl. All of us are a bunch of brawlers. Brawlers is somebody just throwing punches all over the place. You're out of shape, most of you. How long you think you'll last in a brawl? About 3 or 4 minutes? You ever seen 2 people fighting that are not in condition? That fight don't last. By the time you get to go watch World Star, watch these people out there fight. That fight goes on about 3 or 4 minutes, and after that, somebody surrenders. Usually the one who's in the worst shape. When you know how to fight, that means it's a continual. In other words, you can fight as long as you need to fight. And if you got a collective group and you've been trained and you're in good condition because you have taken care of your body, you haven't abused your body with alcohol and drugs and whoredom, you're not dealing with some kind of venereal disease, brother, you're not dealing with some kind of physical illness, high blood pressure, heart disease. I mean, some of you brothers, you throw 3 punches, your heart gonna blow up. You're in such poor shape. You can't protect nobody. You can't even bust a grape. But you talk a big talk. You couldn't run 5 miles if your life depended on it. And you know I'm right. And even after hearing this, you think you're going to say, let me get serious and start getting myself. No, you're not. You're going right back out on the corner where your boys at, right back in the club where right over there, to the chicken shack, the rib shack, and act as though you never heard this message. Therefore, no one can depend on you or count on you because you're not even going to be able to protect yourself. But for those of you who are listening attentively, try to get you some land. There are people selling land out there still. Not a lot, but you can buy you some land. Find your place where it's far enough away from the city that, if someone is coming, you got enough time to prepare yourself for, I'm talking about to get your forces together. And you do need to have a force. You can't, even if you're off the grid and you're out there somewhere, unless you can hide and conceal yourself very well, you're probably going to need to have you some men, fighting men, trained men, vicious men, gangster. And I'm not talking about the gangbanger because he can't run. He can't do nothing. He's out of shape too. He's sitting around waiting for somebody to bring some piece of him. He ain't got no pop. All he has is a whimper. That's all he got. I'm talking about hardcore men who have prepared themselves of Israel that you can trust, who's not going to turn their back on you when things get tough. Align yourself with those kind of men, and you're out of time. And then go invest with those men or those who already have land. See if you can annex yourself. Maybe see if you can make an alliance with them. Maybe they won't sell you the land, but maybe they will let you, plan to be with them at a price when that time comes to get out of the cities. And I did say at a price. At a price. So that's another issue with Israel. You women, you always look for somebody to give you something for nothing. Some of us who have other resources, we might take you on, but we ain't gonna take you on for free. You're gonna have to pay for that protection. Whether it's physical protection or land protection, somewhere for you to escape, it's gonna cost you something. And if you haven't built relationships with individuals who can offer that kind of protection to you, then shame on you. Now you're going to have to deal with the consequences. Some of you sisters out there, because of your own arrogance, you were in a situation where you had everything you needed, but you love these streets. You love listening to your unprepared friends telling you what you don't need. And now look at your situation. I'm talking about when the shit hits the fan. Think about it. Just ask yourself, that's just a basic question. Ask yourself, what would you do? Who house you going by? How you going to get there? And what's going to happen once you arrive? More cases now, your relatives not even going to open the damn door to let you in. They're going to tell you, go away. I don't have enough for you. I had a dream last night. And he told me he would, have me share this dream. And I didn't. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, well, how am I going to share that dream? What does it mean? But the dream I had last night is that I was outdoors. I don't remember exactly where I was, but I was outdoors. And all of a sudden, this big heap of smoke started coming. I mean, black, dark smoke. And I could tell that this, and I'm talking about where it covered the sky. I'm talking about, it was almost like a huge or horrific thunderstorm coming. Black. And I'm assuming it was smoke or clouds. I don't know which one it was. But I'm going to say for the sake that it was smoke, but it may have been a storm coming. A very bad storm coming. And I remember running inside. And I remember when I got inside, there was someone bamming on my door trying to get in my door. And they were trying to push the door open, and I was trying to push the door shut to keep them from pushing the door open. And they got it open just a little bit. And guess who it was? It was my baby sister. And she looked all diseased up, sores and stuff on her face or what have you. And I remember pushing the door shut and trying to see if I had a latch on there so I could lock it. Because I was surprised, because I didn't know who was pushing on the other side of the door. All I know is they were trying to force themselves in. And when I looked, it was her. Now, I told her my baby sister. My baby sister is a mature, grown woman, 50. So we're not talking little children here. At least late 40s, somewhere in that area. And I locked the door so she couldn't force her way in. And I remember thinking how fortunate I was that it wasn't someone stronger than her that could have caught me before I latched that door. Then I woke up. That happened last night. You think that's Elohim warning us? I think so. You think that's Elohim warning you, sisters? I think so. You think that's Elohim warning you, brothers? I think so. Because another thing, for all you sisters who are with these men who have not prepared themselves for the danger ahead, you know, the ones who are going to be standing outside because it's too hot to be in the house, because there's no electricity, it's dark, there's no food. We talked about that already. It's not going to be in the food. The store's going to get raided first, guys. That stuff's going to be gone. They're going to loot those stores just as quick as you can. Trust me, those stores, there ain't going to be nothing in Walmart, nothing in Target, nothing in your brother's stores, nothing in your Dollar General stores, your Bromarts. There's not going to be anything in your Kroger's. All that stuff is going to be gone. So they're going to turn around. And if any part those places happen, they're gonna have armed guards in front of those places, looking for men and women who look just like us, and blow you away before you even come close to their areas. If there is any food, but most of it's gonna be gone. You know what they're gonna resort to when they start getting really hungry? Some of you are gonna get sick. Some of you are already too sick if you don't take your medication. You know, your thyroid, whatever it is. I'm not picking on anybody, so let me be careful here. Your blood pressure, whatever. Your diabetes medicine, you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are going to be dying because you can't get your medication. Those of you on analysis machines, you know, obviously you're going to die first. So they're going to eat you. Those who are alive are going to eat the sick when they die. And then after they eat the sick, they're going to start going after the little children who can't defend themselves and whose parents can't protect them. And then they're going to start eating each other. Now that's in the book. If you've been following this channel, I've showed you those scriptures. They said that the fathers will be eating their sons and their daughters. The mothers will be eating their sons and their daughters. I've already showed you that. Because that's what's going to happen. Oh, I ain't going to eat anybody. If you're starving to death, you're out of your mind. You're full of that juicy juice. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't talking about the one they sell in the store. I'm talking about the one you have to go to the clinic to get. Or your church. Or your local Walmart. Because you can get it in there. They're going to be full of that. So they're going to be zombie-like. So they're going to be doing... How many of you guys have watched The Walking Dead? You know, all those zombie movies. That's art imitating life. Even the CDC say they got a plan or strategy for zombies. Go look on their website. So when they get in that zombie state of mind, they've already showed you what the zombies are going to do. They're going to start eating each other. They're going to become cannibals. You're still not convinced. Maybe you need to go from the beginning of this video, listen again, go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, go to the book of Luke, chapter 21, go to the book of Revelation, start reading around chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 18. Maybe it's time for you to go read those things. And you tell me if what I said to you don't line up with what you're going to read in this book. You tell me if the things that are going on right now all over this world does not line up with this book that you don't believe in, or you're in denial, or you just figure like those unwise virgin, if you just ignore it, somehow or another, it's just going to go away. You tell me. But then again, probably not going to be around for you to tell me. Because when Elohim tells me to pack up, grab those who I'm accountable for, and get to the hills, get to the woods, I am going to be gone. Because guess what? I have a place to go. Yep. Everything I told you about, your brother did it. I prepared myself. I did. Still preparing, I might add. I don't know the end of this thing. I don't know what else I'm going to have to do. I know one thing I must do, other than what I've already done. That's continue to bring forth the word. Because, see, there's an accountability component around sharing of the word. And my sharing of the word is my obedience, as well as me obeying the word, but it's also my obedience. It is my work. It is my pure calling. What does I mean by that? In the morning, as Solomon said, plant your corn, but in the evening, let not your hands be idle. In other words, you should always be about doing something. See, me sharing the word is my hands not being idle. That's second part of my responsibility. Work, yes. Study, absolutely. Bring out what I've learned to those who Elohim want to hear without question. And I'm going to do it until he shuts down this channel. Or the powers that be shut it down. The crisis shuts it down. When the internet goes down. Whatever comes first. But until then, all I can say is what I've said. And I will continue to say. We're in the end. You know, maybe you guys need to, start reading. Not just the book, I might add. Maybe you want to go online and see what's going on with Russia in the United States right now. Russia and NATO right now. China and Taiwan right now. China and America right now. China and Russia right now. Iran and America right now. Israel and Iran right now. Africa and the European Union right now. You might want to take some time to go look. But then again, I forgot. You're too busy to go look. You got to go get your nails done. You got to go get your cut on. You got to get ready, to go get your groove on tonight. Right? You got a party over there. Right? You got some Christmas shopping to do. Right? Well, we see where your priorities are. Obviously, we know where your priorities are. And we know where they are not. But at the end of the day, you've been warned. You've been warned. What does that mean? When it happens, you're going to be without excuse. What can you do? I hope that's not the question you're asking. What can you do? I just told you. I've been telling you for now 1 hour and 2 minutes, 16 seconds, what you can do. And what's going to happen if you don't. Some of you guys need to quit your jobs. You heard what I said? You need to quit. Quit. What do you mean, DFG? Look, you need to quit. You need to quit your job and start making plans on what you're going to do to survive. Well, the man don't work, you don't eat. I didn't say don't find something to do. I said quit your job. Go find something to do, using other skill sets. Go create something. Something that's going to free you up where you can always know where you are and you can make a move at any given time. That's what I'm talking about. Try to start some kind of business where you could sell something. But you don't need to be in no place 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Focus on somebody else's wealth. Enriching someone else for pennies on a dollar. Instead of being at home with your family. With your covering. So when something does happen, y'all can leave all together. And they don't have to go looking for each other. Well, I think she's at work. I think he's at home. I don't know what he at. I think they're in the shopping center. I don't know where they at. They're in the club. I think they went out last night or they went out a little while ago. Because somebody is going to be in any one of those scenarios I just mentioned when the shit hits the fan. Now you tell me where you think you should be when it does. It's still time. It's still time until there's no longer any time. So when a Rahu returned, What's he going to find you doing? Isn't that what the word says? When the spirit of Elohim returns, or when the power of Elohim returns, what shall he find you doing? Israel, the stranger, I pray he find you safe. I pray he finds you awaiting his arrival. And I pray for the sake of all that is good in Israel that you're not asleep. What I mean by that, you're not preoccupied with with the things of this world. I pray that that's not the case for you. Or at least let me be clear. When I say pray, I hope. That's all I mean by that. I hope. Right? Because my prayers don't work for anybody unless we're in agreement. Book says if 2 or 3 come together and they touch and agree upon anything, then it becomes effective. So, if you're not with me and we're not in an agreement, I'm talking about we're not in the same space saying this, asking for the same, making the same request of Elohim, I can only ask for myself. But then again, why do I have to ask for what I already have? You say, why did a man hope for what he already has? Didn't Paul talk about that? He said, if you already got it, why are you hoping for it? See, your prayers, in many cases, is going to be many of you all's hope because you didn't prepare yourself. So I don't have to hope. Quite frankly, I have to have a relationship, and I do. I have to be obedient with the word, which I do the best I can, and I'm working to get better. In other words, I have to listen and respond to what I'm hearing, communicate what I need to communicate, and execute what I need to execute. And guess who else has to be doing that? You. And if you're not doing it, your blood is on your head. The blood of your children's on your head too, by the way. Grandchildren included. Some of you are taking care of grandkids, but you're really not taking care of those children if you haven't prepared for the crisis to come. You're really not. And you men, I don't know what else to say to you brothers. Some of you guys, you're out here in these streets. You're out here running these streets, wasting your resources. Out here, on these corners, in these clubs, running around, in these festivals and just doing everything, that a man shouldn't be doing. A man's supposed to be about providing and protecting those that he loves and those that he is responsible for. Sisters out there, if you're with somebody and that's what they do, they in the streets or they looking for the next festival or partying and smoking and getting high and on drugs and drunkards, you with the wrong guy. You are with the wrong guy. I know you like that because that's what you want to do. I'm telling you, with the wrong man. You are with the wrong man. You better go find you a sober-minded man who can make shit happen, who's already making it happen, and pray that he has enough room for you. But you brothers out there, you so-called men, it's gonna probably be twice as devastating on you. Because your role was supposed to be providing and protecting Elohim's gifts to you. Your children, your woman, and whatever else he put under your headship, your governmentship. That's what you're supposed to be about. Not out here running buying Christmas presents and all that other, enriching the rich. You know what our book says? The last thing I'm going to say. And I thought I was going to get into Numbers chapter 14 or 13, but I guess I'll get there when Elohim tells me to get there. But, our book says a foolish man. Sister, same thing. The book says only a foolish person who is poor would take their money and give to those who are rich. The Walton family who own Walton, they're rich. The board of directors, not the board of directors, but the shareholders or the people at the very top of the corporations of Target, those people are rich. All these places that you're going to go spend your little money that you have because you're poor. I know you think you're rich. I'm rich in spirit. Okay. Now, if you're not obeying the words, you're not rich in spirit. You're self-deceiving. You're believing that strong delusion, the lie that Second Thessalonians talked about chapter 2. You're lying to yourself. You're not rich. He says a foolish man or a foolish woman that give their money to those who are rich. Simply meaning you got no business out here buying, toys, Christmas trees and Christmas lights and Christmas decorations. He said you have no business doing that. You're making these people more rich and making yourself more poor. He says a foolish person who does that. Just so you know. I know that's not going to stop you from doing it. We've concluded that. But maybe, just maybe, and I'm going to say this, maybe you love somebody enough to share this video with, so if you're not going to prepare yourself, at least maybe you love them enough to give them a chance to prepare themselves by sharing this information with them, since you don't want to hear it. Since you don't see any usage for it, maybe you love somebody enough to pass it on to them, and maybe they'll find usage for it. Maybe you genuinely love somebody other than yourself. DFG, talk to you later. Bye now.